Purchase the I-Beam and other quality woodworking clamps by Bessey Tools. Simply better.
MicroJig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
This bed that I'm starting on today will be bed number 5 for me, and it will be for my oldest son, Nathan. When I made him his first real bed 12 years ago, it was one of my first big projects, and from a lack of experience, I didn't build it very soundly. And as a result, it started to come apart. But at least it's lasted 12 years, right? So this is my son Nathan's bedroom, and this is the bed that I made for him 12 years ago. And like I said, this was one of the very first larger size projects that I've ever made. And did I mention it was 12 years ago? I want to show you guys what I did wrong regarding the construction and why it started to fall apart. And while we're in here, I wanted to also show you some of the other projects that I've made for him in the past. And you can have a chance to see how they've held up over time and how the patinas have developed on the pieces of cherry. So I'll do that after I show you the bed. The plan for this bed, for the joinery, for the stiles to the rails, was to use dowels. And you can see a dowel hole in the bottom of the rail here. Now, when I went to glue this together, I had a lot of trouble getting the stiles to line up properly with the rails. It was real gappy, and it just didn't look right. So, in a panic, I just removed all of the dowels, and I thought that I might be able to get away with just a butt joint for the stiles to the rail. And this wasn't the original plan. Obviously, I wanted to use dowels, but I thought it might hold up over time. But it didn't. It lasted, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years, and then the stiles started to pop loose from the rails. So what I learned from this, obviously, is that a dry assembly is very, very important. So that's a lesson learned, a very critical lesson learned early on in my woodworking. Always make sure your dry assemblies go smoothly, and do them twice if you have to, just to make sure. This is a cherry and maple panel toy box, and I made one of these for each of my sons. And the top of the toy box, the cherry has developed a really nice patina. On the back wall is a cherry picture frame with ebony inlay, and that has also developed a really nice patina. And here's a maple dresser that I made for him several years ago that he's adorned with stickers over the years. Kids, what are you gonna do? Still works really nicely, and he still uses it to this day. And this is a bookcase that I made for him a while back that he keeps really nice and tidy, as you can tell. What I really like about this bookcase are the book-matched panels on each side. They came out looking really nice. I'm really happy with how those turned out. And the last thing I want to show you guys from his room is this green and green desk that I made him a while back from cherry. I absolutely love this desk, and this has also developed a really nice patina in the cherry. Because it's going to take a while for me to complete this bed, I plan on releasing the build video in segments. The advantage to releasing them in segments is that I can share with you my progress as I move along, and it gives those of you that would like to build along with me the opportunity to do that. And if you'd like to build along with me, you can download the SketchUp file that I'll have available on my website. From the SketchUp file, you'll be able to get all of the dimensions that you need for the build. But you'll need to be a Garage King Patreon member in order to download the file. But regardless if you build along with me or not, I hope that you'll stick it out with me and watch the entire series. I'm going to get the post for the bed from this piece of 12-quarter cherry, and the first thing I'm going to do is cut it to rough length. Because this board is in the rough, the faces aren't exactly flat. So when I go to rip this board at the bandsaw, I need to make sure that I have the face down on the bandsaw surface that causes the least amount of rock. And you can see with this face down, it rocks quite a bit. But if I flip the board over, it's a lot more stable. So this is the face I'll have down at the bandsaw when I go to rip these posts. The two longer posts are going to make up the long headboard posts, and the third post is going to get cut in half to make two shorter footboard posts. With the freshly edge jointed faces against the fence with a joiner, I'll square and flatten one adjoining face. Before taking these posts over to the planer, I'm going to get them a little bit closer to their final dimension at the table saw, and I'm going to put one face jointed side against the table saw surface and the other face jointed side against the table saw rip vents. Now that I have two faces nice and flat and square to each other, I can plane the opposite two faces to thickness. I have all my bedposts planed to thickness and all of the faces are square to each other. The posts that are going to make up the footboard, the shorter posts, have sapwood in one corner. So what I like to do is place my joinery so that this corner ends up being in the interior portion of the bed and is more hidden. I think that'll look a little bit nicer. So this will be a joinery face and that'll be a joinery face. With all the posts dimensioned to thickness, I can square one end of each post and then cut them to their final length. With the posts dimensioned to length and thickness, I'm going to stop part one here. The goal of this first part was mainly to introduce the project and let you all know why I'm building it. Next time I'll start on the rails and stiles in the headboard and the footboard rail, and I really hope you all stick around for the entire series. And the best way to make sure that you don't miss any episodes is to subscribe to my channel and to click on the bell icon to receive a notification when it's ready. Thanks for watching.